Have you ever noticed the quiet, sinking feeling in your chest when you see someone younger than you living the exact life you always wanted? Most of your suffering in that moment is not caused by your lack of success. It is caused by the heavy, invisible timeline you are using to measure your worth. If you have ever felt left behind, anxious, or suddenly inadequate because someone else seemed to cross a finish line before you, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may completely change the way you view your own journey forever. It happens so easily in our modern world. You are simply scrolling on your phone, watching an interview, or listening to a conversation, and there it is. Someone 5, 10, or 20 years younger has achieved the very thing you are still striving for. In an instant, your own accomplishments feel small. Your journey suddenly feels too slow, too flawed, too late. You start doing the math in your head. Where was I at their age? Why haven't I figured this out yet? Have I run out of time? This inner pain of looking sideways is exhausting. It takes a beautiful, messy, unfolding life and reduces it to a scorecard. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering arises when we cling to an illusion. In this case, the illusion is that life is a single, straight racetrack, and that everyone is supposed to reach the exact same markers at the exact same time. The mind attaches itself to this imaginary timeline, creating an immense burden of expectation. When reality does not match this internal clock, the ego panics. It looks at the younger person's success and whispers a very convincing lie. If they are there and you are here, you must have failed. Imagine a deep, quiet forest. In this forest, an oak tree and a bamboo shoot begin their lives at the same time. The bamboo breaks through the soil quickly, shooting up into the sky in a matter of months, green, bright, and visible for all to see. The oak tree takes years to show any significant to quietly building a massive, unseen root system deep within the earth. If the oak tree spent its days looking sideways at the bamboo, feeling inadequate because it was not soaring into the sky, it would suffer immensely. It would not understand that its strength lies in its depth, not its speed. It requires different storms, different seasons, and an entirely different foundation to become what it is meant to be. This is exactly what happens when you measure your progress against someone younger. You are an oak tree comparing yourself to bamboo. You are looking at their bright, visible success and completely ignoring the unseen root system of your own life, the wisdom you have gathered, the heartbreak you have survived, the quiet resilience you have built in the dark. Their success does not subtract from your potential. Their speed does not make your journey invalid. Ask yourself, when you look at someone younger who is succeeding, what are you actually feeling? Are you truly upset by their success, or are you mourning the artificial deadline you gave yourself? Is this thought bringing you peace, or is it feeding your fear? Pause, breathe. Notice the tightening in your chest when the comparison arises. Observe the thought without following it down a spiral of self-doubt. Let the feeling of inadequacy rise without making it your identity. You do not have to chase what someone else has already found, because peace is not found by running faster to catch up to someone else's timeline. It is found by stepping entirely off their track and returning to your own. But letting go of this comparison is only the first step. And this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath this reaction is a deeper fear about time, and why the mind convinces us we are constantly running out of it. 2. The illusion of being behind. What if the concept of being behind in life is nothing more than a trick of the mind? Here is the truth few people want to face. You cannot be behind in a life that belongs entirely and exclusively to you. Yet, the harder you try to catch up to an imaginary schedule, the further true peace moves away. This feeling of being delayed is a quiet, heavy burden. It happens when you see a 25-year-old celebrating a massive career milestone, or a younger peer effortlessly stepping into the life you have worked decades to build. Instantly, a wave of panic sets in. You feel a sudden urge to rush, to force things to happen, to work harder just to prove you are not falling backward. You replay past decisions, wondering where you took the wrong turn. It becomes a constant, low-grade anxiety, a lingering sense that the train has already left the station and you are stranded on the platform, perpetually late to your own destiny. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that much of our daily suffering comes from our rigid attachment to how things are supposed to be. We construct a firm mental calendar, assigning strict deadlines to success, wealth, and stability. But one of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is the practice of seeing reality exactly as it is, not as we demand it to be. The universe does not operate on a human clock. By labeling yourself as behind, you are actively fighting the present moment. You are rejecting the reality of your current chapter because it does not match a fantasy you constructed in your head. Imagine a river flowing steadily from the high mountains down toward the vast ocean. Some water rushes violently over steep, jagged waterfalls, moving with incredible speed and creating a spectacular display for everyone to see. Other water winds slowly through quiet, flat valleys, taking years to travel the same distance, carving deep canyons silently in the dark. The fast-moving water is not superior to the slow water. The slow water is not behind the fast water. They are simply navigating entirely different terrain. Yet, eventually, all of it reaches the exact same ocean. In our modern lives, this terrain is our personal experience. You may have spent your years navigating difficult family conflicts, healing from quiet losses, or slowly discovering your true identity. The younger person you see succeeding rapidly might simply be moving over a waterfall right now, fast, loud, and highly visible. But you might be the slow water, carving a deep, unshakable canyon. You are gathering depth, resilience, and a quiet strength that simply cannot be rushed. Your path is not delayed. It is just requiring a different kind of movement. Think about your own life. Who actually wrote the schedule you are trying so frantically to meet? Are you punishing yourself for not arriving at a destination that was never meant for today? What would happen if you simply dropped the timeline entirely? Stop trying to force the river to flow faster. Pause. Breathe. Whenever the painful thought "I am too late" arises, do not fight it. Observe the thought, without following it. Let the feeling of urgency rise and pass, without letting it control your actions. Remind yourself that you do not need to be anywhere other than exactly where you are right now. Because true peace is not found by finally catching up to an imaginary finish line. It is found by realizing there was never a race to begin with. But letting go of the rush is only part of the journey, and this is where the next truth begins. Because to truly stop comparing, we must face the part of us that demands to be ahead in the first place. 3. The trap of the ego's timeline. Here is a truth that is difficult to swallow. The pain you feel when you look at a younger person's success is rarely about them. It is almost entirely about the heavy, demanding voice of your own ego. What if the harder you try to defend your pride, the more exhausted you become? We often attach our entire sense of self-worth to our age and our achievements. We are taught that getting older automatically means we are supposed to be further ahead in the line. So, when a younger colleague gets the promotion, or someone a decade, your junior builds the dream life, you are still scraping together. A quiet sense of humiliation sets in. You feel ignored, you feel invisible. The ego flares up and takes it personally, whispering that their early victory makes your long struggle look foolish. It turns another human being's joy into your personal defeat. In Buddhist thought, this is the very nature of the ego. The ego is the rigid, constructed idea of who we believe we are, and it survives entirely on comparison. It is always looking left and right, demanding to be better, faster, or higher than someone else. Buddhism reminds us that as long as you tie your inner peace to being ahead of others, you will always be at war with the world. Because there will always be someone younger, faster, or seemingly more fortunate. The ego builds a timeline, calls it the truth, and then punishes you when reality refuses to obey. Imagine a boat moving through rough water. The captain of the boat is desperately trying to reach the shore, rowing with all his might, but he is exhausted and barely moving. Beneath the surface, completely unseen, the boat is dragging a massive, heavy iron anchor. Suddenly, a smaller, newer boat glides past effortlessly, moving swiftly toward the land. The captain of the heavy boat feels deep anger and despair. He curses the water. He resents the smaller boat. But his suffering is not caused by the speed of the other boat. His suffering is caused by his refusal to cut the heavy anchor he is dragging. In your life, that anchor is the ego's demand for status. It is the belief that you must reach a certain milestone by a certain age to be worthy of respect. You exhaust yourself fighting the rough water of daily life, navigating financial pressure, family conflicts, or the fear of failure, while dragging this massive weight of comparison behind you. When you see someone younger glide past, you row harder out of pure panic. You forget that they are not dragging your anchor. They are sailing their own vessel in their own wind. Think about your own life. What are you afraid it means about you if someone younger reaches the finish line first? Are you holding on to the heavy anchor of pride, expecting it to save you? What would happen if you simply let it drop to the bottom of the sea? Pause. Breathe. The next time the ego flares up in the presence of someone else's success, stop. Do not judge the feeling, but do not fuel it either. Observe the thought without following it. Let the feeling of wounded pride rise and fall like a passing wave. You do not have to defend an identity that is only causing you pain, because peace is not found by finally outrunning everyone else. It is found by dropping the anchor of comparison entirely. But letting go of the ego requires us to understand that not everything blooms at the same time. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The wisdom of different seasons. What if trying to force your life into summer while you are still in winter is the very thing destroying your peace? Here is the truth few people want to face. Nature never rushes, yet everything is eventually accomplished. But the human mind is rarely so patient. We look at younger people thriving and instantly feel a sense of failure. You watch a 20-something step into a prominent role, find early love, or build wealth seemingly overnight. They appear to be in a vibrant, unstoppable summer. Meanwhile, you might feel stuck in a long, quiet, lonely winter. You are waiting for something to change. You are feeling emotionally exhausted. You try to force yourself to bloom and produce results when your life is actually calling you to rest, to heal, or to shed old layers. You resent your quiet periods because society tells us we must always be shining, we must always be visible. In Buddhist thought, one of the most profound teachings is the truth of impermanence and natural cycles. Nothing stays the same, and nothing can be forced ahead of its time. Everything arises and passes according to its own conditions. Suffering happens when we fight the current season of our lives. We try to control the timing of our success. Buddhism reminds us that acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is simply recognizing the weather of your own life and making peace with it. Imagine a tiny dormant seed resting deep in the dark frozen earth of winter. Above ground, other plants are already tall, catching whatever sunlight is available. If the seed could think, it might feel deeply anxious. It might feel invisible, useless, and completely left behind. But the seed is not failing. In the dark, It is undergoing the crucial, invisible work of preparing to sprout. It is gathering energy. If you panicked, dug into the cold earth, and pulled the seed out into the winter air just to force it to grow, you would destroy it. It needs the darkness. It needs the quiet. It needs the waiting. We do this to ourselves constantly in modern life. We see a younger person experiencing their bright spring or summer, celebrating a milestone, posting their victories, moving fast. We panic. We try to rip ourselves out of our own necessary winter. Perhaps you are in a time of healing from a painful loss, navigating a confusing career transition, or simply doing the quiet work of self-discovery. But out of fear, you demand immediate success to match theirs. You force the timing, and in doing so, you exhaust yourself trying to bloom in the snow. Think about your own life. What season are you actually in right now? Are you frantically trying to harvest fruit when you are only supposed to be planting seeds? Are you punishing yourself for being in the dark, when the dark is exactly where you need to be to heal? Stop trying to force the door open. Pause. Breathe. Feel the reality of where you are right now. Acknowledge the season you are in without judging it as good or bad. Let the feeling of being behind dissolve into the simple, quiet acceptance of today. Do your part, then release the outcome. Because peace is not about living in a perpetual summer. It is about trusting the silent, invisible work of winter. It is knowing that your time to bloom will come, exactly when you are ready to sustain it. But accepting your own season is impossible if you are still carrying the heavy weight of regret. And this is where the next truth begins. Because we cannot embrace today if we are still punishing ourselves for yesterday. 5. Releasing the burden of should have. What if the heaviest thing you are carrying is not your fear of the future, but a past that no longer exists? Here is the truth few people want to face. You cannot heal your present by constantly apologizing to your past. Yet, when we see a younger person succeeding, that is exactly what the mind tries to do. The pain of looking sideways quickly turns into the pain of looking backward. You see someone younger building a beautiful life, and suddenly your mind becomes a courtroom where you are entirely on trial. The judge in your head begins listing all your perceived mistakes. I should have started sooner. I should have worked harder. I should have walked away from that wrong relationship years ago. If only I had known then what this younger person knows now. You replay choices and decisions from 10 or 20 years ago, punishing yourself for not being wiser when you were younger. The feeling is suffocating. You are no longer just feeling behind. You are feeling completely weighed down by regret. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering thrives in the spaces where we refuse to accept what has already happened. We suffer because we cling to the ghost of a different past. In Buddhist thought, true mindfulness is not just about being present, it is about letting go of what has already vanished. The past has no physical substance, yet we allow it to dictate our current reality. By constantly whispering "I should have," you are arguing with reality. And when you argue with reality, you will always lose. Imagine a bird trapped inside a small iron cage. For years, the bird beats its wings against the bars, exhausting itself, dreaming of the open sky. Then, one day, the door of the cage is swung wide open. The wind rushes in, the sky is right there. But instead of flying out, the bird sits on the floor of the cage, staring at the iron bars, punishing itself for all the years it did not know how to escape. It is entirely free, but it remains a prisoner of its own memory. This is what you do when you weaponize a younger person's success against your own history. You sit in an open cage, punishing yourself for the years you spent wandering, surviving, or making mistakes. You look at the younger person flying, and you tell yourself that your time in the cage was a waste. You forget that your mistakes were the exact curriculum you needed to finally understand the value of the open sky. You made the best choices you could with the awareness you had at the time. You cannot demand that your past self possess the wisdom that only your painful experiences could buy. Think about your own life. What are you still holding on to? Are you using someone else's current joy as a weapon to punish your past self? What would happen if you simply forgave the younger version of you who did not know any better? Pause. Breathe. The next time the heavy thought of "I" should have enters your mind, stop. Observe the thought without following it. Let the feeling of regret rise, and then watch it drift away like a cloud passing across an empty sky. Stop trying to force the door of the past open just to rewrite the story. You do not have to carry yesterday into today, because peace is not found by perfectly editing your history. It is found by dropping the pen and stepping fully into the present moment. But releasing your own past is only part of the healing, and this is where the next truth begins. Because, to truly be free, we must fundamentally change the way we look at the person who triggered this pain in the first place. 6. Finding freedom in another's joy. What if the very thing that triggers your deepest insecurity is actually the key to your absolute freedom? Here is the truth few people want to face. You cannot find inner peace while secretly resenting the peace of someone else. When you see a younger person succeeding, the immediate reaction is often a quiet, painful jealousy. You feel a tightening in your chest. You may smile and offer polite congratulations, but internally, you feel diminished. You believe that their victory somehow shrinks your own possibilities. This creates an exhausting, lonely cycle. You become threatened by the happiness of others. You might begin to isolate yourself, avoiding conversations, shrinking away from celebrations, or silently hoping for others to stumble, just so you can feel a little more secure in your own position. Buddhist wisdom teaches a profound and challenging concept: the practice of finding joy in the joy of others. When we operate from fear, we believe that success is a finite resource. We believe that if someone younger claims a piece of happiness, there is simply less left for us. But Buddhism reminds us that joy is not a possession, it is a shared state of being. When you celebrate the light in another person, you do not lose your own. You instantly invite that same warmth into your own life. Envy builds a heavy, isolating wall. Shared joy completely dissolves it. Imagine a vast, quiet room filled with unlit candles. Suddenly, one person steps forward and lights their candle. It burns brightly in the dark. If the other candles could think, they might feel jealous. They might feel deeply inferior, ashamed that they are still cold and unlit, while this one young candle shines so beautifully. But what happens if they simply lean in? The flame from that single lit candle can ignite a second, a third, and 1,000 more without ever diminishing its own brightness. The fire does not shrink because it is shared. The entire room simply becomes warmer and brighter for everyone. When you look at a younger person thriving, you are looking at a lit candle. Your ego tells you to stay away, to hide in the dark, to protect your wounded pride. But staying in the dark only keeps you cold. When you see a younger peer achieve a massive milestone, or a friend find the love you have been waiting for, you have a choice. You can let their success make you feel small and defeated, or you can recognize that their progress is not a threat to your future. It is simply beautiful proof that good things are possible in this world. Ask yourself, why does another person's happiness feel like your personal loss? Is your jealousy truly protecting you, or is it just keeping you trapped in the dark? What would happen if you simply let yourself be happy for them? Pause. Breathe. The next time you feel that sharp, sinking pang of comparison, do not judge yourself for it. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. Then, quietly in your own mind, wish that person well. Say to yourself, may their joy continue. Notice how the heavy tightness in your chest instantly begins to soften, because peace is not found by blowing out someone else's candle. It is found by realizing there is enough light in the universe for everyone. But to truly celebrate another person's journey, you must first reclaim the immense value of your own. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Reclaiming your own path. What if the energy you spend watching someone else's life is the exact energy you need to transform your own? Here is the truth few people want to face. You cannot walk your own path while your eyes are locked on someone else's. When you are consumed by the success of a younger person, a very specific kind of tragedy occurs. You slowly begin to abandon yourself. You stop tending to your own daily life. Instead of focusing on your own growth, your own quiet victories, and the unique challenges you are meant to overcome, you become a spectator in their story. You begin to doubt your own deeply earned instincts. You might even try to abruptly change your direction, forcing yourself to mimic their choices, hoping to replicate their speed. You discard the deep wisdom you have gathered over years, simply because it does not look like the rapid, shiny success you see in front of you. In trying to be like them, you lose your center. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering arises when we leave our own present reality. True mindfulness is not just about sitting quietly, it is about fully inhabiting your own life. Buddhism reminds us that your exact conditions, your history, and your experiences belong only to you. When you obsess over another person's journey, you are essentially abandoning your own post. You are scattering your energy into an illusion, pouring water into a mirage, while your own garden begins to wither from neglect. Imagine two travelers navigating a vast, magnificent mountain range. Each has their own mountain to climb, with entirely different terrain and weather. One mountain is steep and quickly leads to a visible summit. The other is covered in dense, winding forests that take much longer to cross. If the traveler in the forest constantly stops to look through a glass, watching the other traveler effortlessly reach a sunny peak, they will stop moving forward. They will trip over the roots directly in front of them. They will lose their footing. They will become bitter and exhausted, completely blind to the quiet beauty of the ancient trees surrounding them. By staring at a peak they cannot stand on, they completely miss the journey they were actually meant to take. In your life, that glass is comparison. When you spend your time obsessing over the achievements of someone younger, or feeling bitter about how easily they navigated a career hurdle, you are staring at a different mountain. You stumble over your own daily tasks. You miss the quiet moments of connection with the people right in front of you. You ignore the steady, beautiful progress you are actually making in your own work or your own quiet healing. You cannot live their life, and by constantly watching it, you are failing to live your own. Think about your own life. What beautiful things are you ignoring in your own world because you are too busy looking at someone else's? What could you build if you took all the heavy energy you spend on comparison and poured it entirely back into yourself? Pause. Breathe. Bring your attention back to your own feet. Whenever the urge to look sideways pulls at you, gently call your focus back. Let the feeling of inadequacy rise, and then firmly choose to water your own garden. You do not have to copy someone else's map to find your way home, because peace is not found by wishing you were on a different mountain. It is found by learning to walk your own path with grace and full presence. But taking that final step requires us to entirely surrender our illusion of control over time. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Your journey is right on time. We began this journey by looking at that quiet, sinking feeling in your chest, the sudden heaviness that arrives when you see someone younger living the exact life you always wanted. We talked about the exhaustion of looking sideways, the illusion of feeling left behind, and the immense burden of judging your present by an imaginary clock. But what if you finally realized that the timeline never existed at all? Letting another person's progress remain entirely theirs does not shrink your future. It actually expands it. The younger person's early victory is not a reflection of your failure. It is simply the reality of their own separate path. When you drop the heavy anchor of the ego, when you stop expecting the deep oak tree to grow at the speed of bamboo, and when you finally walk out of the open cage of your own regret, you discover a profound truth. Your life has never been delayed. Buddhist wisdom is not about giving up on your ambitions. It is about letting go of the desperate, anxious grasping that makes the journey unbearable. It is the practice of deep, unshakable trust. It means trusting your own unique season. It means trusting the quiet, invisible work of your own winter, knowing that your roots are growing deep even when nothing seems to be happening on the surface. True non-attachment is the ability to look at someone else's blooming summer without feeling the need to apologize for your own snow. You are not powerless. You do not have to chase a train that was never meant for you. Think about the sheer amount of energy you have spent over the years measuring your worth against the speed of others. Imagine taking all of that exhausted, scattered energy and calling it gently back home to yourself. You have survived quiet storms that no one else saw. You have gathered a profound resilience, a depth of character, and a silent wisdom that can only be purchased with time and experience. You cannot rush the creation of that kind of strength. You have a right to your own pace. True self-respect begins the moment you stop demanding that your life look like someone else's highlight reel. It is the quiet grace of standing firmly in your own present moment, fully accepting the messy, beautiful reality of exactly where your feet are planted today. Their success is beautiful. Let them have it. Let them shine brightly in their own room, but do not ever let their light convince you that you are sitting in the dark. Your path is uniquely your own, woven with different lessons, different heartbreaks, and an entirely different destination. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you finally gave yourself permission to stop rushing? What if you simply decided, right in this very breath, that your journey is exactly on schedule? Pause, breathe, let that sink in. You do not need to constantly measure your progress to prove that you exist. You just need to live, because peace was never outside of you. It was only hidden beneath the noise of comparison. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Your time has not run out.